everybody, I wanted to bring you out here today to share with you a sheath that I recently received with my custom knife. And there's spiders everywhere. Oh, spider web in the face. Hold on, let me get through this. I brought you out here, wanted to share with you the sheath that I received from Justin a while back. Some of its features, basically what Justin did to it to make it specifically for me. I put in my order for the bush tool, the black feather bush tool, and this is a collaboration job. It's basically black feather knives and Wolfe Customs leather. And after I put in my order, I went ahead and contacted Justin and asked him to make a sheath. Most of you know I carry my knife around my neck, and it doesn't bother me because I grew up as a paper boy and I used to carry all the Sunday papers on my shoulders, so that's just how I carry it. Now, Rick Lindsay a while back made me a lanyard to go around my neck so I could carry the sheath, and he wove it in a way or tied it in a way that distributed the weight really well. When I asked Justin to make me a sheath, it was for neck carry, and I told him about the lanyard that Rick Lindsay made me, and he said to go ahead and send it to him and he would come up with something. So this is what he came up with, and it's perfect. I'll go over some of the features of this sheath, and there's one kind of a hidden feature. I don't think anybody really knows about it because I've never shared it before or showcased it, and I don't recall Justin ever really showing it either. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you, and I kind of want to give you a little bit of a backstory here. A long time ago, I was looking at hedgehog and different survival knife sheaths. I did a search on YouTube and came up with Justin Wolfe. So I started watching his tutorials and realized that I wasn't going to be able to make it with my tool set, which was pretty inadequate. Well, so I ended up ordering a bunch of tools and buying a bunch of tools. And even after I bought all the tools and had all the tools, I still didn't have the skill to make it. So it kind of gave me a better appreciation for what Justin does and how he makes the sheaths and what actually goes into it, the man hours it takes to actually make something like this. I found Justin on YouTube and I started watching his tutorial videos. He mentioned that he had a Facebook group, so I joined it. And there I met all kinds of great people who were all very kind and gracious, and I started a bond with all these great people that I met. That's where it all started for me, basically. I started out saying that I would never pay that much for a sheath, or I would never pay that much for a knife. Not everything is made specifically to you. So the reason why I contacted Justin for this sheath is because I wanted something tailored specifically to me that no one else makes. Now this sheath is specifically made just for neck carry. I'm going to switch the camera around now and show you the sheath and some of the features that it has. I will add Justin Wolfe's YouTube channel to the description as well. First off, let's talk about the lanyard and the reason for this sheath. So a while back I saw Rick Lindsay made these neck lanyards. I contacted him on Facebook and said, hey Rick, I really want one of those for myself. I carry my knife around my neck, and I saw that this was woven or tied in a certain way that would distribute the weight better than just a traditional piece of paracord or leather thong. So I also had him make this this ferro rod for me, which is a rabbit smoking a pipe, and it has a bungee with a cobra knot tied to it. So fast forward to Justin Wolfe. When I asked him to make these for me, or the sheath for me, he asked me to send him the lanyard, because the lanyard kind of had a special type of way it connected. What these are the Night Eyes S-beaners, and what Justin did was put 2 eyelets in so he could attach, or I could attach, the S-beaners to the sheath. Now it's only attached to this piece here, which I call the retention strap, somewhat, because it adds retention and rigidity to the rest of the sheath, so it allows you to put your knife in, and it holds it, you know, like it's not gonna come out. This actually does add a little bit of retention to it. So it's only attached in that one space. It's not attached where the handle passes. It's only attached right directly behind it. There was also somewhat of a theme going on here with the orange and the black. Justin went out, he didn't have any orange thread. He went out and specifically bought this orange thread for this sheath. He asked me what I wanted on it. I told him that I wanted to attach a ferro rod, and I also want a way to maintain my knife. So what he did was put a pouch on the front with this DC4 in it. So you have diamond on one side, ceramic on the other. So now I have a way to start fire, and I have a way to maintain my knife. This is kind of a standard here, which is the ferro rod loop, but I always like to have the ability on me, because I don't always have my kit with me. I always like to have the ability on me to maintain my tool. I have in the past put Altoids tins on my knife sheath. I think my Tom Brown tracker, the mini one, it had a snus tin with a surefire method to start a fire. I'm always making kits out of knife sheaths, and so basically that's what I asked him to do, was to make me something to not just hold the knife, but to have a stone and a ferro rod. In my opinion, I think that the sheath is just as important or more important than the knife. Well, I won't say more important, but just as important. In some cases, this will be your only tool if you were to ever get stranded or lost or dumped over in a canoe. You want to make sure that your tool is secured and tied to you, and the sheath is a way to do that. Now I'm going to go over one of the major features of this sheath here that not too many people know about, and I think is probably the best selling point I've ever seen in a knife sheath. So this was a collaboration knife. This is the Wolfe Customs logo here, and this knife was made by Blackfeather. It's the Blackfeather bush tool. I have another video on that if you're curious and want to see that. This is a collaboration between Justin Wolfe at Wolfe Customs and Joe Honeycutt at Blackfeather Knives. To me, the biggest selling point of this sheath is that if you look at the back here, you can see that originally it was wet formed to this specific knife. You can see back here where the handle stop is made, and you can see up front the handle stop here. Now, the cool thing about this is that this DC4, this pouch here, stops the handle no matter what knife you put in here. If you look back here, you'll see that the blade doesn't even go down the full sheath. So what that means is that you can fit other knives in here. So what I brought with me, I brought a Mora. which, you know, this sheath is adequate. Don't get me wrong, it can be used, but a lot of jiggling around and this will come out. There is a good possibility that you could lose this knife. I brought the LT Ride Genesis, which again, the sheath is adequate. In fact, better than adequate. So, taking out the bush tool, I can put this Genesis in it. Because of this stop here and this design right here, where it's designed to stop, it'll hold this. The retention on this is a lot tighter than I like because it's around my neck. I like to be able to do it one-handed. I can still do it one-handed. Still a little tighter than I like. Here's the Mora. Now a lot of people might find this ridiculous to have such a high-dollar sheath and a cheap knife. Well, like I said, your sheath is just as important as your knife because your sheath is going to hold it. So even if you look at the back there, still not as long. Now we have the black feather black lore, wood lore design. Again, the knife is not as long as the sheath is, and it still stops right here. Retention is a little better on this one. But again, this is a neck sheath, so it's not going to get turned upside down. It's going to stay at this direction all the time. So I don't need that kind of retention, but it's nice. So that's 4 knives that I can fit in here. And again, it's not coming out. You can see it was a little loose, but it catches right here at this strap. So to me, this sheath and the design of this sheath is just, it's genius. I mean, this sheath is, it's perfect. So if my tastes change and I want to carry a different knife with this, because my bush knives are basically, they're all going to be around the same design, I can carry a different knife with this. That is the Wolfe Customs knife sheath. I asked him what the name of this was, and he said it's the Mayfield. So just meaning that it's a one-off design for me. He did his little customization here. You can see what looks like just the mark of the hide, but I'm not sure. I think a long time ago he said that he had a special trick that made this so it was different with every sheath and every piece of leather that he turned out. I just wanted to share that with everybody. I hope you found that to be informative. If you're interested, I will leave a link to his website in the description. I will leave a link to Rick Lindsay's Facebook page in the description, as well as Justin Wolfe's YouTube channel if you're interested in trying to make something like this yourself. The knives that I have are also in other videos. I don't typically do knife reviews, but I do have a couple up. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate your comments, likes, views, and subscriptions. Enjoy the outdoors. Wow. It's a jungle back here. Man, this is crazy. Oh! I don't know if you can see all these thorn bushes, man. Stuff is really growing wild. Sorry for the shaky camera work. Let me pull these thorns out of my side. Holy cow. So, anyways, this sheath was custom made for me by a friend of mine, Justin Wolfe at Wolfe Customs. I will leave a link to his website in the description. Let's see here if I can navigate through all these thorn bushes, man. And hot dang. That's fun. The trouble us YouTubers go through for a video. Trying to step on all these. Whew. Oh, that hurts. Okay. May have to reshoot that part, because that was awful.